Ladies and gentlemen, this is Joe's Classic Video Games back with another cool pinball repair video for you this evening. We have been working on this awesome Bally Knight Rider electromechanical pinball machine. If you didn't see our other videos, we did one where we kind of did an overview of it, and then we worked on the bottom panel, all of the things there. And we had a wire that had been hacked in, and we kind of rerouted it and did some stuff like that. Worked on all of that down there. And then we had another one where we worked in the back box and we cleaned all of the score reels and the stepper units and all of that stuff. And then we fixed the flaking paint on the back glass. So if you missed that, you really missed a cool video. Go back and check that out. But now we're going to do one where we're going to start working on the playfield. The playfield's over here. It's been removed from the game, but it's about to be reunited, and it feels so good with the cabinet to get it just a little bit closer to playing. At the end of the previous video, we were talking about the back glass, and it has a thing up here that I just noticed that says King of the Road that can light up. That's pretty cool. I wonder what makes that happen. So I think what we'll do just to start this video out, since we kind of cliff-hung that on the last video, and you may not know, but of course I'm filming this 5 minutes after I finished the last video. But maybe we'll look in the schematics and see what makes the King of the Road light up. What do you think about that? Let's do that, and then we'll get started on the playfield. But we'll check that out in the schematics first. Okay, so I looked it up and figured it out. Basically, we talked about it in the previous video. Whenever you get 100,000 points, which is you roll over the score, so 99,990 points, you get 10 more points, it rolls us over to 100,000, which turns on the 100,000 light for this player, right? And then it turns on what's called the over-the-top relay, because you went over the top of what the score reels can even display. And whenever you do, it turns on this buzzer. So in the previous video, we hit that relay just to show you what the buzzer sounds like whenever you get over 100,000 points. But what I didn't notice was that it also turns on the King of the Road. So I'm going to hit it again. It's kind of loud. Watch your ears. You've been warned. King of the Road, baby. And we mentioned in the previous video what turns the buzzer off is that they ran the power to the relay through a light bulb that is a blinking light bulb. So whenever the bulb heats up, the filament moves, which turns it off, which kills the power to the to the relay. So it's a little timer thing. But the King of the Road sign comes on when you go over the top. That's pretty cool. Okay, so let's throw the playfield up in this sucker. So, we have to clean the Jones plugs so we can plug it in. So, this one I did already. Nice and shiny. This one not yet. You just got to get all that oxidization off of there. The way we do it is we just use very fine sandpaper. I've heard you can use Tarnex and it works really good, but I haven't used it yet. We'll see. I'm gonna try it eventually. I guess you would dip it in there. So we'll get that done. We have a little unit here that says the top hole unit. The top hole unit, which is just like the match unit in the back, except it doesn't have switches mounted on it. 3 pop bumpers. Looks like one of them's been replaced at some point. Eject hole in the top center. And then a marvelous, beautiful 10 full drop targets. Notice Captain Fantastic over here only has 5, but it has a 3rd flipper. 2 kickers, 2 flippers, and the bonus unit there in the middle of it. So we're just going to get all this stuff serviced. But first, let me clean these, and I'll turn the machine off and then plug these in and then see if the lights and everything are working on the playfield. Got those plugged back in, and then when I turn it back on, we got all of our lights back. So all the lights are at least trying to work. So, you know, whenever you're approaching something like this, the way to handle it is just divide and conquer. So the first thing we're going to do is mess with the light bulbs. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to pull out each bulb. I had someone ask me one time, how do you pull out the bulb? Because nobody had ever really showed them how to do it. First of all, do it with the power off. I do it with the power on sometimes in the videos just to kind of illustrate it, but you might end up shorting something out. So turn it off before you do it. But sometimes whenever they're like this, you have to bend the little holder out of the way. And then if you push down and twist the bulb, it comes out. All right. So push it down and twist it, stays in. Twist, push it down and twist it out, and the little bayonets pop out, and you can swap the bulb. Like we mentioned in the previous video, we take all of these are 44 bulbs is what they usually ship with, and we take those out and put 47 bulbs in them. They're still incandescents, but they use about 40% less wattage, so they're a little bit dimmer, don't put off as much heat, and in a home environment, in my opinion, that kind of gets rid of the problem, you know, where the bulbs create a lot of heat, use a lot of power. So a lot of people put LEDs in them. I personally just don't think they look very good in the old EMs, so I don't put them in them. It's just a personal preference thing. If you want, you can put them in them though. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to clean every little bulb socket. If you look, see the dirt on the lens up in there? That dirt is just basically soot from those bulbs. This one doesn't have much on it, but the bulbs will get soot all over them. And if you don't clean them basically from the top, you can see dirt through the Playfield whenever it lights up. So you want it to look nice and clean. What I usually do is I have a little paintbrush, like a kind of just a real cheap kind of stiff bristle brush that I kind of dust it with. And then you can, after you do that, you can use a Q-tip or something like that to clean up the bottom of the lens. It's just a little tiny extra step that makes the thing look a little cleaner whenever the bulbs light up. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to replace every one of them. Just put all new bulbs in it. That way, you know, these incandescent bulbs have like they wear out eventually. They have a lifespan. So who knows what the next one is going to be that wears out. So we just replace them all. They're real cheap. They're like, I think right now they're 15 cents each. So we just go through, put all new ones in it, and then we don't have to worry about it. If one burns out, it's not a big deal. We give them an extra box with them whenever they buy them. But if you try to play the game where you just replace the ones that are burnt out and the other ones have been in there for 10 years and you don't know it, you end up, you know, every couple of days another bulb's burning out. So we're going with all new. So we'll do that first, and then we'll get all that clean, and then we'll move on to the switches or something. So I cleaned up all the lenses, swapped the bulbs. I can't try it out yet though. We don't really, not very many of them are lit up because we're just not playing the game right now. And I can't try to start the game until we get a little further along. But now that that's done, next thing to tackle is I usually clean the switches. So we're basically just going to look at every switch set, clean them like we do the relays. You don't want to get too aggressive because you don't want to eat up the contact. So you just want to use either fine sandpaper. We use a file that's basically worn out, so it isn't really aggressive. And you just want to make sure all of them are doing their thing. See how the large blade is making the small blades move? That's what we're looking for. So I'm going to go through and check that. It's not uncommon to find some that are smashed where they're always connected or something. That will cause you all kinds of problems. And usually when I'm doing this, I also do the drop targets. You usually don't have to take these apart because usually by this era of Bally's at least, they worked pretty good. I'm just seeing if they all look like they're pretty decent. And you can, basically when they drop, they should make the switch connect. And then it kind of disconnects and it makes this switch connect because it's sitting on the bottom. But each setup's a little different. Some games do it that way. Some games do it another way. You can see when it drops, it makes that switch move. Or I think it did. So you have 2 sets of switches on everything. And you just want to make sure that they drop fine. It's something that we're actually trying to make them drop upside down right now, but it's something where you usually have to go back and mess with it a little bit afterwards, so we may end up disassembling them anyway. But yeah, we're going to check all that. Now the pop bumpers, didn't we say we had to replace some of those? Yeah, I think we're going to take those apart because the skirts are all ate up, so we won't worry too much about the pop bumper switches yet. Whenever we do the top, we'll have to take that all apart. I don't think there'll be many problems. There's really nothing to mess with. Sometimes you got to watch out for stuff like this. When you lean the Playfield back, it will make the spinner move just because of the way spinners work. They're weighted on one end. So when it does that, it will make this connect. And depending on how the game's wired, sometimes just doing that will make like a bonus unit come on or something. Like the coil will come on the bonus unit and lock on, because this switch is stuck now. So watch out for that whenever you're lifting one up. Since the game's off, it's not doing it to us right now, though. I mean, the game is not in gameplay. And then, of course, there's another one over there. But, yeah, I'll clean switches. If I run into anything weird, I will show it to you. All right, folks, so this is the top hole unit that we were talking about. This is just like the match unit that was in the back. It's 2 little PCBs. I'm not allowed to say PCB board anymore. It's 2 little PCBs with a little wiper that goes around on both sides and cleans the, or wiper, and contacts the little connections on the board. So just like everything else, we're going to clean that up a little bit. I'm going to wipe it down. I'm going to turn it off first so I don't get electro-killed. I'm going to wipe it down to clean the dust off of it, and then I'm going to lightly clean it with sandpaper, light sandpaper, and then we're going to put some dielectric grease on it to help it move around, and that should get it where those things that move on the top hole, the lights will work like they should. So let me clean it up a little bit. Alright, so I cleaned it all up, put it back together, and now steps around one time each time you pull the plunger in. Works great. So I think we've got that. We did the drop target switches, did the switches on everything, did the light bulbs on everything. We're going to wait on the pop bumpers. Moving right along. Switches up here, we did everything. The kickers seem to be kicking. Didn't see anything wrong with them. We're going to wait on the flippers till after we play it and see what seems to be worn. So we need to mess with this bonus unit. So let me rearrange the Playfield so it's down here and we can get to the bonus unit and we'll talk a little bit about it. So here is the bonus unit. Just like all the other stepper units. So exact same thing. We've got one that steps it, one that resets it. I wish I knew the exact term. I'm going to memorize the exact term one of these days. Some of them only go one direction. Some of them will go one direction and then reset back. Some of them will go one direction and then reset back one direction. So that's how this one is. So basically, it's reset to 0 right now. Every time the bonus ladder advances, it moves one position. And see the little post there that's spinning around at the top there? Eventually you get all the way up, which it looks like on this one might be 15 steps. Let's see, I didn't count. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay, so when we get to 15, we'll be back down to the first position, which was 1,000, I believe, right? But then when it resets, it goes down to 0. So when it resets, you'll see that it opens up these 2 switches here. So that's the 16th, or the 0 position, basically. So you got to make sure that it's doing that, and it's a little bit tricky to know what that's supposed to do. The only reason I know what that's supposed to do is because we just watched it, and it seems like it's right. So it's different on each one, though. It just depends on what they're trying to do with it. So we need to clean those switches, and then on this side, you saw that it's working fine, though. On this side, we're just going to clean the rivets like we did the other stuff with very light sandpaper, and then we'll put a little bit of the dielectric grease to it. And that will be it that we're going to do for now under the Playfield. We still have to do the pop bumpers. We still have to do the flippers. Much better. Look at that. Boy, that's presentable, isn't it? All right, so let's set it down, and we'll take a look at these pop bumpers. So as you can see, the skirts are just chewed up. Look at that. They've chipped away, and we've got a little bit of wear I didn't even notice there to the right of that one, and it's pretty rough right there. Look at that. Ooh, we might need to go chase that down and fix it. This Playfield does not have Mylar on it. It's actually in pretty good shape without it. That's about the only spots that are bad. It's a shame too. I thought maybe we'd get away without having to paint anything, but I gotta fix those. The game's so nice, I gotta fix those up. So that's what we're looking at. That's our before. Luckily, it won't be too bad. It's a yellow, a black line, a little bit of white, and then the same yellow there. And then this one is yellow, a black line, orange, and red. So 3 colors on one, 1 on the other. No, 3 colors on one, 2 on the other, and black. I think we could get away without the white on that, though, just a little bit of it. And you don't need the white on this one. So, no big deal, people. Easy. Alright, so we took the old pop bumper bodies off and the old skirts. We've done an entire video just on Bally pop bumpers before, so basically these get cracked where the rod hits them. So you saw in the video where we were taking all the stuff on the bottom off. You have to take all that stuff loose on the bottom so that you can desolder the light bulb. And so the light bulb leads go down through here and here. And so you can't unscrew this and take it out unless you do that. But to do it right, you got to take the bracket off the bottom too, so you can get to the leads right. Okay, and sometimes you can get away with leaving these even if they've got like a crack there. But if the skirt is all ate up That one wasn't that bad. This one is. If the skirt's all ate up like that, I mean, obviously that needs to be replaced. It just looks horrible. That one was even worse. Right? And then the bodies were all yellowed and brittle and cracked and stuff, so they need to be replaced too. So we swapped them. Now, these are very inexpensive. The main problem is taking the damn thing apart. It takes a while, right? I got these from Marco Specialties. One of the reasons I like theirs is because they're not actually white. They say they're white, but they're not, which is a good thing. This is white. Look at these bumpers. They're more of like a cream, which works really good on the EMs. If you put these on there, they don't look right. They just look brand new, and it just, I don't like it. It's all right. I mean, I'll put it on there if I need to, but these are kind of cool because they're a little bit cream colored. So just their regular white ones are kind of cream colored. And on an EM, I just think it looks a little better than the ones that are really bright white. And then the bodies are the same. So it's very similar to the color of the original ones. It just doesn't look uneven, and it certainly doesn't look burnt and brittle like that, you know. This is interesting. So most of the time, the machine spins with the ring at the top. And if you look, that part is not yellowed, but that part is. So it's not in the actual stuff. That's light or something on it, you know. And it's not on the back. It's just on the part that was exposed. So I don't know. Light must have done that, I guess. That's my guess. What's your guess? And it's not the light bulb, because it would light up that side too. It's exposure to UV, I believe. That UV will get you every time. All right, so I've put new ones on, and let me go show you what they look like. Now, I can't show you the whole Playfield right now because I had to wait on these. I only had 2 of them. So to replace all 3, I had to wait 4 or 5 days for them to come in. But now that they're in, I've replaced all 3 of them, right? But I can't show you the whole thing because while I was waiting on the parts, I went ahead and did the whole Playfield. So time has magically elapsed while you weren't paying attention. All right, so let me show you what they ended up looking like, though, with new pop bumper skirts and bodies. Oh, the other part. Underneath, there is a spring and a little flat piece. I have a ton of those because you usually don't have to replace it. It's just like a lock that goes on here. Like I said, we did a whole video about these before. But there's a little flat plastic piece that goes on here and a little spring. They're usually not bad, so I've got like 50 of those from all the times that I had to replace these old cracked up pop bumper bodies, but the other little thing you didn't have to replace. And all these parts are cheap. These are like a couple bucks. These are like $1 or something. The little plastic piece I'm talking about is probably like 60 cents or something. So it's not big money, people. Okay, so let me show you how it turned out. All right, so there you go. I can't show you the whole thing because that would spoil it for next time. Notice I am hiding the spots that need touch-up, too. Did we get it touched up, or are they still just as screwed up as they were? Who knows? You'll have to turn in the next time to see. And by the way, before you criticize me for one of the light bulbs not being right, it is right. And whenever it alternates, that one lights up and the other one goes off. So everything's cool. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure to give us a thumbs up for taking the trouble to film it for you. And leave your comments down below. Make sure to check out my brother Donnie if you don't know about that. That is literally my brother's channel here on YouTube. If you like watching us work on these old pinball machines, you'd probably love watching us work on old buildings. He and I have bought a couple buildings in a small town near here, and we are fixing them up in the downtown area to help revitalize downtown. So go check that out. And we'd also like to thank everybody that's been using our Amazon links. If you don't know about that, down below there's a link to Amazon. If you're going to buy anything on Amazon, use our link to go there before you do. And it gives us a tip. So people have been doing that a lot lately, and we appreciate it. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Check out our website, lionsarcade.com, and we will see you on the next one.